Hi everybody, it's Colin, and this month's photo submission for review is one for the topic of shadows. This one was submitted by one of the Ballantine Photography Club members for the month of September, and I'd like to show us a little bit of a different treatment for it than the one that the photographer gave it. And that's not to detract from what the photographer's done, because I think it stands quite well as an image on its own, but of course with any image we always try to look at how we might be able to improve them. So a couple of things here. The first thing that I notice is that my eye is being drawn to this area of the image, and also a couple of areas where we get these little blue pieces of sky showing through. And one of the things that I would have done perhaps is to crop the sky out so that we don't deal with any of that blue coming through, to pull our eye away from our subject matter. Okay. Now I'm also getting a little bit of my attention drawn to this area down here, simply because the white patch on the, it's actually a seal on the concrete. So while I'm cropping top, I probably would have cropped bottom as well. And while I'm at it, this little chair over here, so while I'm cropping, I would have cropped a little bit closer had I been trying to give you still the feel of the pool and the tranquility there, but I might have cropped in closer to get rid of some of these elements that are a little bit more distracting, and still retain the allure of the pool and the peacefulness that this lady's getting there. One of the things I always ask people to do is look for the image within the image, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do here as well, because our subject matter is the shadow. And that's pretty much why the lady took the picture in the first place, because she saw this really intriguing shadow being cast by the lady floating on the pool. So if that's our subject matter, why don't we just focus on it? So while I think this would have been a first step to get rid of those extraneous areas of the image as it stands, what I would then have done is take more pictures. And I would have liked to have ended up with a crop that looks a little bit more like this, and I'm just going to draw it roughly on here because it's not going to be too accurate, drawing freehand. But I would have ended up a little bit more like this, pulling all of our attention into the subject matter, which is the shadow. Okay. Now, because we're doing this after the fact, of course, I'm going to be cropping this image so you can see what it looks like after the fact. But I'm already starting with a very low resolution image that was submitted, so when I crop it this small, of course, we're going to see some pixelation in the final image. And even if this had been a high resolution image that had been submitted, we'd still get a very low one, a low resolution image at the end of the crop. So if you ever want to do this, it's better to do it in camera. So take as many pictures as you can of your subject matter within variations of the theme. Take a picture from high, take one from low, take from left, right, zoom in, zoom out, and then choose which one you want to edit. Okay. Here, of course, we are limited to just cropping the image. So let me just get rid of this for a second. We'll get rid of all of the ink that we've put on here, and I will just show you where we ended up, or where I ended up with that final image. So like I said, sorry about the pixelation if you can see it on your screen, but with this particular final step, I think we are creating an image that has a lot more impact, especially when we're talking about our subject matter being shadows. And what I did with this crop was take it to be a little bit more panoramic, and put the lady floating on the top third horizontal line and the shadow on the lower third horizontal line, and then I put her head over on the left third of the vertical line. So she's actually floating at an intersection of a power point of the upper and left third lines as far as our rule of thirds is concerned. So then of course we have these really interesting lines on the bottom of the pool, the lane lines, which help, I think, with the dramatic effect of pulling our eye across from the left to the right. Okay, so of course any everything we do is open to interpretation and discussion. What I hope to have done is given you a couple of extra steps, perhaps, to improve the photograph from where it started. And like I said, that's not to detract from where we started. I just think it could have done with a little bit more help to create a little bit more impact. And how far you want to take that, of course, is just a matter of choice. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this month's session, and I will speak to you next time.